took him, and she looked at him, and she was cleaning him up, and she said, well, I think there's some trouble with his eyes. And I knew immediately that he was blind.
And they did discover that he had a cleft palate, and they did all kinds of other tests to check in his heart, his liver, lungs, and things like that. We didn't know for years, until years later, that he would also have autism and growth hormone deficiency and likely fairly significant mental retardation. Sometimes it's really hard when he can't communicate, and to this day, when we get up in the morning, we have to feed him, we have to clothe him, get him on the toilet, get him on the school bus. He's been through 13 surgeries, and each one of them been a little bit different, and each one of them we fear, is this going to take a piece of him away from us? And thanks be to God, it hasn't. This is how God gripped us. This is how God was merciful to us. He has given us something very, very precious through our son. Our son is a gift. And it was because he gave us this little boy who is so different from every little boy I've ever met. I've never met a boy like Paul. That he has done the work in my heart, your heart, and so many other people's hearts, that I want to tell that story. This was grace. This was grace.
When Johnny was a year old, I had been breastfeeding him, and I thought that some of the abnormalities in my body were because of the breastfeeding. But he was about a year old, and I was getting ready to wean him, and things didn't seem right. And so I decided to go into the doctor, and the doctor told me he knew 15 seconds after looking at me that I had breast cancer. I came home, and I told John, and we just cried. But I felt held by the Lord. We knew that the Lord was with us. We knew that this was going to be very difficult, and I was confident that He would take care of us. So I'm aware that I have a husband that may have to bury a wife and a child in a year, within a year's time. I don't know that, but I think about it sometimes. But I know that the Lord loves my children and my husband more than I do, and that He'll take care of us. I know that He will. So I'm confident of that.
I have a little boy who is blind and has autism, growth hormone deficiency. He doesn't eat well. He doesn't sleep well. My wife lives with stage 4 cancer in her body. And I have a hope, and I have a future, and I have a rock, and I cling to my Jesus.
Mama, I sing Jesus loves the little children.
Jesus loves the little children. Can you sing it?
All the children of the world, red and yellow, black and white.
Precious in His sight.
Jesus loves the little children of the world.